And look who's the doctors there. Nigerians, nurses, Nigerians, physical therapists, engineers, whatever. Name it. We have it all. Look at what our music is doing to the world right now. Look at it. But we have people who have decided that they don't want to see what we could become. But my question is, are we going to continue to let them to do that? Or one day we're going to say, hey man, this can't continue. And you see, those people, even I like when I using our brain, oh, even I like more gonna act stupid. Okay? It's up to you guys. I rest my mind.
All right, thank you very much, Jungle. Very, very brilliant submission. So yeah, like I said, I'll be running up the space shortly. So let's go to someone.
Greetings,
Someone
everyone.
if you're there. Yeah. 3-4 minutes, please.
Okay. So everybody has said quite tangible things. Greetings to Rhoda, Miss Pat, Miss Henke, Liberty, Honorable Dora, Justin dear, to me. I'm only going to
Is Anze
say
speaking? I can't hear her.
yes, I'm
Oh
speaking.
Lord.
I'm
Tommy is
sorry.
Anze. Oh, okay. Let me dip and come back.
Okay. I'm only going to say so my situation, or rather my annoyance, is with the kids taken away. But you see, I'm coming to terms with the fact that it's a planned thing. They say when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. So it's a planned thing. Um, it's only the parents that are gonna cry out. Everybody knows where the kids are, so nobody's making noise about it. And it's the same playbook that was used during the Chibok girls, and it's still being used now. Now we had, I think it was on Dunke Space, a guy that came out. I can't remember what country he came from or he's from, but he's an African, and he laid out like the plan of what is actually taking shape now in Nigeria. So I am coming a very hard. I am coming to appreciate the fact that one, this Islamization of the country, Nigeria, is not if, it's when, whether we like it or not, whether we accept it or not, it's going to happen. The kidnapping of the children is a distraction for looting of money. They're gradually building their space. We heard the other day, I think it was Ruda that said that the people want to come back to a land that doesn't belong to them and take ownership of the place. And they want to farm and they want to settle. They're gradually getting into our faces and they're gradually doing things. So for me, there's only two solutions. I'm not even thinking about a 2027. That doesn't exist. The solution is either we get into a revolution or we continue to stay where we are. Because when you try to dialogue, if you want to dialogue with someone, you need to make sure that the person is on the same wavelength with you so that when you speak the person understands and you don't have to speak too much. These people are not on that, they're not in that sphere at all. They don't understand that. They're not willing to understand that. So why are we wasting our time? So whilst we can all sit down and pet ourselves and quote ourselves and make ourselves feel good, the solution is we wake up to fight to collect it back, or we sit back and enjoy the shit as a fan is spreading it, because it is spreading it far and wide. It will soon spread it to every nook and cranny. That's the truth. Whether we want to accept that truth or not, it's up to each individual. But that is what is playing out right now. They've been collecting money, they're looting money, they're looting money. I said it on some spaces a while back that one day, one country president will come and say, oh, you know what? the money that they have been collecting, that I have been giving them, I am here to collect it back. Okay, you don't have the money for me. I'm going to take this portion of the country. We're going to see that because we know for a fact that Nigeria does not have money. Period. We know it doesn't have money. So where they are getting the 40 trillion from, a country that does not manufacture anything, doesn't produce anything, where are you getting the money from? And you're using it not to fix roads. The money they said they were going to give to students to go back to school, not one person, no human in Nigeria has come out and said, I collected the student loan and I'm using it to go to school. Nobody has done that. Betsy Idu's money that was fact, they said she stole. Nobody has explained anything to us. So we can all sit down here and cajole and preamble and play. And, sometimes we like to listen to the sound of our voice. It's okay. However, what's down is down. More children will continue to be kidnapped. All of us on this space, how many are we now? We're over 200. At some point in time, we will all be affected. I have been affected. It's a matter of time. We will all be affected, directly or by proxy. So get ready. When the country becomes Islamized, it's either you take it the way it is and work with it, or you stand up now and fight back. And then someone was saying, I know Tosin was saying the people in the diaspora, my brother, you work in the United States. Are you going to take your 10 hours or 12 hours money that you've worked and go and give to somebody when you don't know what the person will do with the money? And then tomorrow, you hear the person tomorrow is drinking beer and eating in Kwabi. Not all of us can do that. I refuse to do that. And I seriously advocate for people to stop sending money home. The Vietnamese had a difficult time. Where are they today? The Koreans had a difficult time. Where are they today? We should stop pampering our people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, someone. And yeah, I agree with you with every point that you've mentioned. Yeah, great submission. So yeah, let's go quickly to Tommy. Tommy, I know you've been going back and forth. You've been dropping and then coming back up. So yeah, Tommy, welcome to the space. So if you can drop your submission in 2-3 minutes, and then we can move on to the next speaker. So we can round up the space shortly.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and
Good
clear.
evening, everyone. It's been a while. I came up on. I've been a major listener now because I'm very occupied. Honorable Ada, Liberty, everybody, my brother. I'm sorry, I can't start looking at names. Good evening, everyone, from this side of the world. I'm not going to say much. I just came up not necessarily because of the topic, but just to speak a little bit about the topic. It's so obvious now. I read Zaria Yusuf post, and these things have been so obvious to us. What's going on the ground? I was on Nelson Spaces for I think a month thereabout, and I learned some things, and I started to understand why these jihadists, these extremists, Fulani jihadists. I now started to understand some things, where I learned, I now started to go and, go back to go and listen to the English Quran, about the hadiths and all those things, about how they will say, oh, kill the Christians when you see them, kill the Jews. And now you see these people behead people and they say Allah Akbar. Then you see some Muslims who are supposed to be speaking up and say, no, this is wrong. You see them still defending, or they keep mute. Why? Because he's a Muslim. And those Muslims, you that are complaining, they'll say, hey, look at you, you're not a Muslim. This is what is in your Quran. This is what is there. Why are you seeing what is going on today? Imagine kidnapping people asking for trillions. It's crazy. They are just trying to, empower themselves to do more of this their jihadist ideology. It is just what it is so glaring. It's even clear to the blind to see. Because these people you will say these people are not Muslims. That's one of the defense they use. They say these people are not. You look at what El Rufai said. He said they are not Muslims. Whereas those people will look at you if you say something like that. They will say you are not Muslim enough. And also, just to wrap up, I've been listening to. I remember watching Albert Wige's tribute, and you could see how someone like Sanusi Lamido, a Konotanan, look at all the amazing things this man said about that guy. Why am I saying this? Because of that bigotry conversation that came up recently. It's unfortunate that they use this against us. In fact, it's so heartbreaking that during the elections I cried because of things like this. That how will we be so, we are now used by like puppets, when it comes to election, they just bring these things, and these people that are upstairs there, that are these our guys at the top, they don't even think about bigotry. They don't think about tribe. These guys are doing business together. They are doing things together. They will still go and attend their daughters' weddings, their children's weddings. They will dine on the same table. But when it comes to election, we just forget. We just choose to be senseless. It's so unfortunate. And I don't let me please permit me to quickly say this. I used to be part of I had this train of thought that nothing can happen again. 2027, the same thing will happen. I want to say this to everyone, please. If our principal is still in this race, see, I've changed my mindset. We should still be on that train with him. Please. I have chosen to change my mindset. See, nobody will change Nigeria for us. We cannot give up. So please, wherever you find yourself, in your domot, in your backyard, let's still be telling people 2027 is coming. We can do it. People are now more awake. People are hungry. Let's be hammering it on them. Sure, you don't see what APC do for you. Sure, next time go vote Labour Party now. Let's be using it to haunt them. Especially those of us who are still, in the grassroots, those of us who are in Nigeria. Those listening in the listener session, please, and let's start tweeting about this. In fact, I'm speaking to myself as well, because as I'm listening on this piece, I'm also learning new things I can start doing too, to let people to at least let's just have that voter apathy. We can do it. So if we come out massively, if we now, we can do it in such a way that these people will not even be able to rig the election. It is possible. It can happen. So please, I'm begging us, please, let's not give up. If our principal did not give up, we shouldn't give up. You're the mic here. Thanks so much.
My people, how na dey? Natu, hey! Natu, where have you been? You don't reach like 10 years. How now? Oh, you wanted to make a submission. They didn't add you. Did you request for the mic? Usually when you request for the mic, they will. Because we've been on this Kaduna thing for God knows, for the last how many hours now? I want to say, let me see, 48 plus 24. That's 72 now. Add another. Since that kidnapping happened, we never sleep. Spacing day and night, night and day. Making demands, forcing the news to carry the news about the kidnappings in Kaduna and other. Yeah, my sister. Yeah, if you request the mic, you'll just when you'll just add you on. You understand? So yeah, let me share my link with you so you can say something. Absolutely. How you doing now? Long time. So nice to see you here. And then I'm going to play a video that I think we all need to listen to. Neka, my darling, so good to see you. Highly favored. Thank you, girls, for showing up. I appreciate you. Yeah, you could be doing other things, but you chose to be here. I don't take you for granted. Now, welcome. Now, well done. Now, happy New Year. So, Naim, it's crazy. What's happening in Nigeria? Now, here say that they demand how much trillion, 40 trillion naira to release the children when they carry for Kaduna. 11 Hilux buses, 130 something Okada. That's what their demands are. Can you imagine that? This is where we are in Nigeria. Hey, this matter, everybody need to dey involved, but who am I now? Na my own I go do. I can only shout so much. My voice can only go far enough. So it's up to everybody to do their part. You see, this Nigeria, we must fight too. We must fight because this country, the plan wey they get for am, we must make sure it does not come to pass. No matter how hard they try, we must ensure that it never ever comes to pass. Because these people, they are hurried, they are hurrying with their plan. And the painful part is the Nigerians back home is almost like they are sleepwalking because they've been traumatized, re-traumatized, they've been beat down, beat down. You guys see what's happening with Haiti? It's not fun and games. So Haiti has fallen into the hands of gangsters, of hardened gang members. Eh? Look around you. No African country, they just dey fight. Everywhere for Africa, they fight. Una think say e normal. So me, I no know. Yay, I don't know. Na where I know reach now I go do reach o. Can't do more than myself. See? See how they are transporting bullets. You know what they do? They put it inside gallon of oil. Okay? That's how they transport theirs. They will put it inside gallon of oils. That's how they are transporting their bullets that they are using. Hmm. Oh my god. Ay, yeah, 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 yeah. And then they said they discovered some bandits in Niger forest. See as they put all of them, see as they many, they be like population of the country. Terrorists. Hmm? All these Fulani jihadists, see as they plenty for Niger state. They be like population of country. Forest in Kontagora in Niger state. They ransack and they find a lot of Muslim terrorists. Eh? Jihadists. Meanwhile, your governor, your government, nothing when they pass their eye. Nothing. Hey, we better get ready. This one no be play. We need to be ready because they mean it. They are hell bent on ensuring that they keep anyway, let me let you people listen to this audio because it's important. I know I'm going to probably likely going to be demonetized, but that's okay because we need to hear this. Let's see.
It is, and we can ask him questions as well, because I believe that we could actually learn, a lot from them. Thanks, Achik, for coming.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Duncan. And it's like deja vu for me. It strikes me the same thing. I think, as you guys know, in our civil war, because of the oppression from the northerners, the Islamic North, to try to convert us southerners into Islam. So we fought from 1983 till 2005. The civil war ended. And then we ended up splitting into two countries, a Muslim North and a Southern Christian state. And what happened through the war is, they used to kidnap our babies too and our children. And they were taken to madrasas, Islamic schools. And then in those schools, all they would read is the Quran 24/7, and they would radicalize them. I don't know if that's happening in Nigeria, but that was state-sponsored. It was sponsored by the North Sudanese government. So you had militias. The militia was called the Janjaweed. And the Janjaweed operated mainly in the Darfur region. And that was supported by the government of North Sudan. So it kind of reminds me like Boko Haram. I'm fully convinced they're supported by the federal government of Nigeria too, like the Janjaweed was supported by the government of Sudan. And they actually perpetrated the Darfur genocide. If you guys don't know about it, you should Google it. From 2003 to 2006, roughly 500 to 600,000 Darfurians were killed, and then North Sudanese people. And mainly they were the Black African one, not the Muslim Darfurians. And around 50,000 women were raped and mutilated. It's one of the worst crimes in the continent. And when we were liberating our country, we found that fighting the northern government, we're getting oppressed simply because we're not Muslims and we're Black Africans. Most of us are Christians or animists or traditional religion, like we don't believe in the most, or atheists. And that oppression didn't stop until we started fighting. So from 56 till 83, we kept asking the northern government, please do something about this oppression. And then finally we had enough and decided to have a civil war and break the country in two. And that's what I'm worried that's going to end up happening in Nigeria, because I'm getting sick of it watching it, because I can't imagine what you guys are feeling. And we went through that, and it was a very vicious, bloody war. We lost 3 million people to gain independence. We have 6 million people overseas in the diaspora. Don't forget, there's only 13 million South Sudanese here, and there's about 44 million North Sudanese on the top. And what is happening now in the Sudan, they're having their own civil war between the different Islamic militias. And we have 1 million refugees from the north in our border right now that we have to feed and look after. We're getting aid from the United Nations and the United States to deal with it. But when I look at this situation that's happening in Nigeria, I have a really terrible, terrible feeling. This is going to lead to a civil war, which I don't want it to happen, because there's only so long Southern Christians can handle this oppression in Nigeria before they get fed up and decide to do something about it. And I don't believe your government, ever since Goodluck Jonathan, this Islamic government that you have in Nigeria, I generally believe they're going to try to Islamicize Nigeria using through government forces and using corporate power and the wealth from the oil-rich South. And I think their plan is to systematically use this to make sure there's a permanent Islam majority so they can never lose government. Because the second they get a permanent Islam majority, it's all over for the Christians in the South. You can't vote them out. You can't vote them out. They have the army, they have the military, they have all of the taxes that are going to fund their areas, and they have the poorest areas. So what doesn't make sense is these terrorist organizations that are going around in your country, there is no way they'd be going around without the full cooperation and support by the federal Nigerian government. And this is what I think. There is no way they'd be let. How can Boko Haram get all these weapons, get all these militias, kidnap kids, and you can't rescue these children? The only reason they're not rescued is because the government doesn't want to rescue them. They simply don't care. And I think we went through the same thing when they were kidnapping and killing our children and our people, until we fought and we got fed up by this. And that's why we're two different independent states. So I have this sick feeling in my stomach what's happening in Nigeria, like I've been through it before. And that's why I pray for you guys. So hopefully you guys deal it well soon. Hopefully it doesn't have to come to a civil war, because that's really nasty and vicious stuff. But the Christians in the South are going to get sick of it. My warning is, if they get a permanent Islamic majority government, there's nothing you can do about it, honestly. That's the saddest part. When you get to the stage you can't vote these guys out, you're doomed. I'm sorry to say. That happened to me and my people. And we had no choice, because we couldn't vote them out. We were too small. They had the military, they had the economy, everything. So I'm thinking about you guys. Hopefully they're sorted soon. But I generally believe the Nigerian government is the one doing this. And they're doing it. They've given these militias the green light to do this. And that's why none of them is being held accountable, because they simply don't want to. And I think that's a sad truth. Thank you.
Achik, I have a question for you.
Should I continue with the questions?
When you guys, prior to your...
Should I continue with the questions?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Or civil war, were they dividing, like finding ways to divide the South? You know, those of you in the South. Like,
they
tribes and then...
Yeah, they divided us between Nuer and the Dinka. So the Dinka, the majority, which are my people. The Nuer are like, so us Dinka were about 30%, the Nuer about 15%. And then we have another 62 tribes. And they divided us into Dor, Nuer, Dinka, and we were fighting each other before we ever fought them. We only became united in 1983. So from 1956 till 1983, us black tribes in the southern part of Sudan, we were fighting each other. And because of the divisions that came from the federal government, so they divided us up in certain areas. So the west is the Barkazal area, the east is the Nuer area, and the north is the Nuer area, and the south is the more like Islamic area in Juba. So if you go to our capital, Juba, a lot of people speak Juba Arabic. And the reason is because the government up north wanted to make Arabic as an official language of the southern Christians. Because if they make Arabic as an official language, we become Arabs. So then we start, it takes away our traditional language and our culture. they essentially tried to Arabize all of the people in the southern of Sudan, like they have in the north. Like when you go to North Sudan, they're like Algerians and Moroccans and stuff. They're Muslim, they speak Arabic and stuff. That's what they wanted to do till the whole Sudan. They essentially divided us, they conquered us, and then eventually we had a leader that came in, Dr. John Garang. He essentially told the blacks in the south, listen, we have to come together or they're going to kill us all. And that only came in 1983 when we declared our movement, the Sudanese People Liberation Army. It was like a guerrilla movement. And then we fought and then we eventually won. But even till today, we're divided. So the Nuer and the Dinka in 2013, they caused a civil war in my country, but we ended that pretty quickly. But even till today, those tribal lines that have divided us against are so hard to break apart. Like tribal tensions in my country are so bad right now because of what they did of generations of brainwashing and just things like even with marrying between different tribes it's incredibly difficult because of the way they made us see each other since the founding of our country. And we're just trying to get through those tribal lines even till today. So it leaves deep wounds. I don't know if they've divided you guys in Nigeria and your tribe, but they really did a number on us.
That's why I asked you that question, because like everything you're saying, it's like I'm watching a movie while you're saying it, because this is our reality right now.
Now you know why I brought him.
Wow. We went through the exact same thing. Wow. It's not too
like
different.
It's horrible, Ashik. It's never been this horrible, but right now it's horrible. And especially among the two tribes, that's kind of like everybody has always known, like these people are literally in love with each other. The intermarriage is crazy. But to find even men who have like their wives from this other tribe will spew the worst, oh my God, the worst, the most horrible rhetorics, divisive rhetorics that you would wonder, how is he living with his wife and he has the heart, the stomach to say, even those of them who have children. Oh God, Achik, I don't know what to say.
It's the same thing. Like my uncle, he's Dinka, his wife is Dor, and he has children that are Dor, and he speaks shit about Dor 24/7, and I don't understand how his children with her, because he thinks he's superior because he's Dinka, and that's the way he was raised to think. And he has children with her. He's married to her. And he talks shit like that to the children all the time. And I just say, this is the level of brainwashing. For example, I myself as a Dinka, I could never date a Nuer girl. Like, if I wanted to, it'd be so difficult because my parents would be like, no, absolutely not happening. They're not our people. This is the type of brainwashing would happen. Or if I wanted to date a Dor girl or something else, it would just be like a nuclear bomb went off in my household. This is the amount of anti-tribalism that is in my parents' generation. Like, I like to think I'm not tribal and I do my best not to be, but the amount of brainwashing that I have to survive as an individual coming from the people that are close to me, like the elders in the community and stuff, it's simply horrific. And this tribal thing is the thing that's really, they've done a number of that. And this came from the northern Islamists that did this to us. So right now we even have to heal between each other's tribes. Like, I'm not tribalist. I can just South Sudanese. You're South Sudanese. You're my people. I don't care. I was never raised like that. But this local tribalism is very, very hard, and I think it's the hardest thing to get rid of because we can never unite. We united against the Islamist North because they were killing us, but between each other now in the country, it's so divided. It's a segregated country. It's like certain regions you only have Dinka, certain regions you have Nuer, certain regions you have Dor. It's like an ethnic federation. It's not the same like Nigeria. It's like an ethnic federation, like certain regions are one tribe and another tribe, because we have that same problem here, and it's a big, big problem.
Oh my goodness.
We don't live together.
Wow. Like, Dinka, like, I don't even know what to say.
Yes. I think, did I just say you had a question? I'm trying to, I'm telling you, if you listen to it, it's like, hold on. Isn't that what is going on in Nigeria? You know? And you can see what he's saying, where even though that North Sudan cut off, as soon as they removed South Sudan, they can no longer say, oh, is it because these people are not Muslims, these people are not our tribe? What happens? They started fighting with each other. And that's what would happen in northern Nigeria as well, because there is a section of the Muslims that are not jihadists like these people. So even if they ended up splitting Nigeria, they will still end up in another war. Archie, do you have a question for him?
I was just gonna say that. Oh, sorry. Go on, Archie.
No, go on. Let me not cut your trend of thought.
I was gonna say when we left the North Sudan, and don't forget they're all Muslim in North Sudan. Now they're having the worst civil war they've ever had in their own country, and they're all Muslims. There's no Christians there. We're not there anymore, and they're killing each other. Like, we're not there. So the Southern Christians that they wanted to brainwash and convert to Islam, we're gone. We have our own country. And what did they do? They start shooting each other. There's been like over 800,000 killed by each other. There's about 4 million refugees. 1 million of them we have at our border. And this is Muslims killing Muslims in the nose. It has nothing to do with South Sudanese Christians. We're no longer part of the country. So if that could happen in Nigeria, let's say they split from the North are probably going to fight themselves, even if you're not there, It's crazy.
The thing is, sorry to burst in, the thing is the North does not actually comprise of just Muslims. North is 50-50, 50% Muslims, 50% Christians. So it can't even work. That's the simple truth. Excuse me. We have 50% of Muslims in the North, 50% of Christians. I'm a Muslim. I'm from the Middle Belt. But if for some crazy reasons we're saying that we're going to have, God forbid, a different country for the North, Middle Belt is definitely going to fall into North because they call it North Central. And that's the issue we're having, calling Middle Belt North Central. So 50% of us, I'm talking 50% of people living in the Middle Belt are Muslims, 50% are Christians. And even in the far north, northeast and north, if you go to the northeastern part of the country, we have lots of Christians, maybe 40 to 60 or 45 to 55%. So it is not even, it's unimaginable. There will be another civil war happening in the north itself if they have their own country.
But so this is why, this is why they're rapidly displacing you guys.
They cannot. Southern Kaduna. They cannot. You know there is mostly Southern Kaduna that is a Christian, right? Now think about it. Where have most of the attacks been? Southern Kaduna. Because that's where the Kafantan people and stuff. That's the Christian part of Kaduna, right?
And we just played to.
That's what they're doing. Gradually removing the Christians they know are there because they want that land. Archie, I'm going to keep you here for a little bit. Archie, you can ask a new question now.
So, Archie, thank you very much for coming on this space and sharing your perspective. Some of those things you said probably would have been very, very hurried to release. So I understand how it can be. Thank you very much. I have a question, but I will first of all have to just drop a little bit of history so you understand. Like the ladies said, every single thing you've explained has happened in Nigeria already, which will bet my question. But before I ask my question, I have worked with a couple of Sudanese, and just up till recently, I never knew Sudan was not an Arab nation. Do you understand? Because every single Sudani I've come across is very, very Arab-centric in nature. Do you understand? So we have those Arabic names like Hanan, Nihal, and the rest of them, Hisham, and these are people I've worked with. Do you get? So I felt so until I had to go and read a little bit about your country's history and found out that the Arabs busted into your country, I think in the 12th or 13th century, if I am not mistaken, and the invasion started from there, which is quite similar to what the Fulanis did to Nigeria, because like Lamin has described, northern Nigeria was predominantly Hausa land until the Fulanis busted into the country, I think sometime in the 14th century from Senegal and pushed in, and the invasion started, and we have what we have today. My question, yes, another historical perspective to note for everybody who's listening and is Nigerian is the fact that we have the highest population of Nigerians in diaspora in Sudan. It is not a mistake that Nigeria is the way it is. Our highest population of Nigerians in diaspora, any country in the world, is domiciled in Sudan, predominantly northern Sudan.
Are you kidding? Why?
Yes,
What are they doing there?
Yes, we have 5% of Nigeria's population in northern Sudan. 5%. I think
It's
about
telling the truth. It's correct.
About 10 million. So once you see some things happen in Nigeria, it's not coincidental. It's by design. There is a roadmap. It has been moved.
I'm as much shock as you. What?
Never heard that before.
It's being replicated. So you have most Nigerians in Sudan than, in fact, the whole of the West, for starters. So, but what my concern is I check with the history you've seen, with the fact that you now, have the understanding that Nigeria is as polarized as Sudan was until you guys took a step back. If you were given, because I've asked myself this question and I don't have an answer to it, if you were given a bird's eye view and you were sent back in time to forestall something of the nature of, the crisis and the genocide that happened to your people that birthed that, separation, if you were given the task of taking a decision that would have forestalled that and still bettered the lot of your country, because I still feel the Hausas in northern Nigeria, the southern Kadunas, some of those indigenous tribes in northern Nigeria are still as Nigerian as I am Nigerian, irrespective of what, the invasion has happened in northern Nigeria. If I were to be given a chance, and I feel a military coup, people keep talking about military coup. A military coup is an easy out. When you want to have a breakup and someone says, let's separate, I think that's even an easy out. And at this point, I don't think I pray that we're in that position where we can even have that option. But actually, to you, if you were given that position to take that decision, what would be your advice to your people to find a way to forestall that genocide and get your country the liberation it needs? Because at this point, you're talking to me in Nigeria, you're talking to Lamin in Nigeria. We are at the brink of that confusion. Every single thing is sponsored by states, right? Someone was talking on this space. They are going to go and pay ransom from Nigerian Naira very soon to these terrorists that kidnap these children. They will release maybe 220 or 30 or 50, and they'll count it as a win against terrorism. They will recycle it's just a conundrum on its own. Advise us if you are not in the conundrum, in the confusion that I am, what would you take as a decision? Or what would you advise Nigerians to do at this point to save what is already a doomsday in waiting?
My answer is my leaders at the time, the Black African leaders in my country, Dr. John Garang and stuff, they had discussions with the Northern Arab people, and he actually didn't want an independent South Sudan when he started. He said he wants autonomy for his people in the region, for us not to be attacked, for us to live the lives that we want to do, and for us not to be invaded and forced. So his early criteria was, please stop attacking us. We're all Sudanese people. He believed this, that we're all Sudanese people. There's nothing differences. But every time he tried to negotiate with them, they just wouldn't listen. And what really happened at the end of the day is a coup happened. So so everything was going okay, but a coup happened. Umar al-Bashir took power by force in the 80s, and he declared Sudan as an Islamic republic. That's what triggered the civil war. When he declared Sudan an Islamic republic, all of the Sudan, it triggered the civil war. My advice would be, if you have leaders and you can talk to these leaders and something, they have to advocate for you. Do you have leaders that advocate for the Hausa, leaders that advocate for the other people that are getting attacked? Because those leaders have to step up and say something. Because if they don't, and they let this government keep doing what they're doing, that's how this war is going to happen. Your leaders need to step up before it's too late. Right now, these kids that have been kidnapped, you need prominent leaders in the federal government, prominent leaders of these people to speak up, to say this is not okay, to do something about it, because people are going to get fed up. It's only a matter of time before people are fed up and actually pick up a gun and do something about it. And the only reason that happens is because their leaders failed them. If your leaders fail you in stopping these kidnapping, these murders and stuff, you're going to get people in Nigeria, they're going to say, F it, I'm going to do something about it. And a war will happen. But before that war happens, you need to have your spokespeople actually speak up for your voice, because you guys are speaking out. And I don't hear any prominent leaders in Nigeria speaking out. And that worries me. Where are these leaders speaking on behalf of these children, demanding these children come home? They have to be there, because if they're not there, the victims of this kidnapping and these children, they're going to say, you know what, our leaders are absolutely useless. We're going to take matters to our own hands. The reason people take matters to our own hands, because law enforcement have failed. The people that are supposed to protect you are not protecting you. And when that breaks down and the people that you trust to protect you are not protecting you any longer, my advice would be to reach out to these people before something really horrific does happen. Because if they don't speak up now and you feel like you don't have any leadership, you don't believe in your government is corrupt, the only way to do it is to get rid of that government. And it has to happen before it's too late. What I was talking to my father is a lieutenant general in the South Sudanese Armed Forces. He joined the army at 14 when the Civil War started. And he's fought through the army, and today he's a lieutenant general. I asked him about the war, if it could have been prevented. He said yes, if we had competent leadership. But back then in South Sudan, we didn't have any leaders that would stood up for us. And every time our people got killed, the average people like myself and other people decided, you know what, we're going to join the military and we're going to fight because I'm sick of my people dying. You know, and it's only a matter of time. When I join, you get sick of your people dying. And if you see people dying enough, you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to join up too and I'm going to fight for my people. My father told me if he had competent leadership, he would have never had to join the army because the war would have been avoided. It only happens when you have a lack of leadership or weak leadership. And in Nigeria, for that to stop happening, this is just my personal opinion, the people that are supposed to look after you have to say something and they have to do something about it, because you guys are going to get fed up. And I can hear from your voice that you're already fed up. And the next step after getting fed up is actually doing something about it, not just talking about it. And I hope it doesn't get to that stage. I hope it's a really difficult question to answer, Archie. But I just hope it doesn't get to the place where the people that are getting attacked in Nigeria start shooting back. Because when they start shooting back, they're not going to stop shooting back until they're free and they're safe. That's how it's going to go, honestly. And I hope it doesn't happen, because I've been to Nigeria. It's a fantastic country, unbelievable people, you know. Smart people. Nigeria should be a world superpower, honest to God. I believe this on my heart and soul. Smart people. But the corruption, this is what's the problem. The corruption has to be dealt with. Because, Archie, if this doesn't stop and the people that are supposed to look after you don't say anything, it's going to become a war, because people have to protect their families. That's a sad aspect of life, honestly. Thanks. Hope I answered it.
Oh man.
My brother, thank you very much for doing justice to it. We don't have anybody. So over to you, Duncan.
Oh man. I would pause.
Una don hear am o, no be me talk am. So una don hear am. So all hands on deck. Na so the matter be. Because Nigeria. Hey, Oluwa, 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 Oluwa. Kene, welcome, welcome. Happy New Week to you also. Thank you for stopping by. My people, I don't even know. I don't know. We don't keep quiet forever. That much I know. We can't. So Muna, bear with me. Oh, apologies. I'm trying to share a video. So let me go here.
Praise the Lord. I know that since I wasn't a presidential candidate, the ovation that the Redeemed Church will give to me will not be as much as my brother, who was a
This is very distasteful for Akpabio to say this in a funeral. He couldn't just resist. This would tell you that these guys only dream and envy P2B, what P2B was able to achieve without even spending about a quarter of what these guys spend to buy everything from the electorate to INEC workers to the courts. They can't just fathom how P2B does it. Despite all the money that they steal, all the positions that they occupy without merit, they can still buy the people's love. Even while he was making this statement, the crowd was shouting Obi, Obi right before his face. Remember during the campaigns in Akwa Ibom State, the people started singing P2B's song, despite it being an APC rally. It's actually very simple to be loved by Nigerians. Nigerians are good people, because if they are not good people, the way they will be treating politicians who they know that stole their money or rigged elections, it would have been completely different. It is very simple. If Nigerian politicians can learn, they can stop being greedy. At least let them reduce the stealing. If the stealing is much more than the work that they do, then there will be no impact. The people will never feel whatever they are doing. And like P2B said, the elites can actually secure their wealth in a poor country by working for the people, providing jobs. This will guarantee that people will mind their business. There won't be crimes. And no matter who you are, no matter how highly placed you are in the society, you can never run away from happenings in Nigeria. The happenings must also affect you. So why is it very difficult for them to do the right thing? Work for the people, provide jobs so that people will mind their business, so that the society and Nigeria will work for everyone. But they prefer to steal all the money, acquire all the wealth. At the end of the day, they are still not loved by the people. You can't buy love. Despite Akpabio doing a lot of things when he was governor in Akwa Ibom State, the job that he did pales in comparison to the amount of money that is still unaccounted for in Akwa Ibom State. And because of all they are doing, man no man, all the cronism, the EFCC cannot muster the courage to bring him to justice. Also, he's facing a new accusation by a fellow senator that he padded the budget by over 3 trillion naira. Imagine, they presented a budget to the National Assembly and the budget total was about 25 trillion naira. They passed this budget. At the end of the day, the budget that Nigerians know today was padded by over 3 trillion naira, making it 28 trillion naira. If this is true, then it is illegal, it is criminal, it is fraudulent. It is only the National Assembly that can approve funds before the executive branch can spend them. They've set that precedent under Buhari's administration when he printed more than 25 trillion naira without the approval of the National Assembly. It was after he finished spending that money that he came to the National Assembly towards the end of his tenure for the approval. So they've set that precedent, and the current administration is towing the same path, all with the help of this man, Akpabio. Looking at all the major politicians in power today, many of them were worth virtually nothing 20, 25 years ago. Akpabio is a trained lawyer. No one knows whether he practiced even in his own chambers. Today, he's a billionaire. He can't explain how he got the money. It is all wealth without enterprise. To them, it's all about materialism. They will acquire that money however they can through corruption, but they can't buy the love of the people at the end of the day. And anyone that is materialistic will be petty. That was why he shamelessly cried about not receiving the same applause as P2B received in a funeral. This is very, very shameful of him. To him, it's all about himself, himself, and himself. He couldn't even think about the reason they were there in the first place. It was a funeral. And this wasn't the only gaffe he suffered at the funeral. He took offense with what Governor Fubara said, that politicians should be going hard on life when they know that they are not in possession of their life. They can't decide when they will die, that they should take it easy. What are they fighting for? Akpabio took offense with that statement and went on trying to counter what he said, which forced the pastor in charge to kind of reprimand him and praised Fubara for being the person that made a very good speech.
Our own governor of our state has given us one of the best messages we take home today. One of the such a message we take home today. If everyone understands that We should not be struggling. Can we put our hands together for our governor, please?
Looks like you won something there.
I ditched my tax guy and switched to H&R Block. Their experts can do your taxes online.
Amen. We brought nothing to this world. We'll go out with nothing. Whether you like the struggle or not, you will struggle out one day. Praise the Lord.
He told me in the car that, Madam MD, if you don't do what I say, the same pen with which I used to sign your letter, it will be the same pen that I will use to remove you. He said the first thing I should do when I get to Port Harcourt is to change the dollars in the NDDC account. I was scared to do that. After that, he came to Port Harcourt 2 days after inauguration. He said the first thing I should do is to make sure I change the dollars. I should remove Mr. Kaltungo from being legal and send him on compulsory retirement, that we cannot have a northern be the head of the legal team, of the legal unit. He said I should remove all the other directors that refused to take his instruction during the time of Mrs. Aguagaga. That was the predecessor before I came. So he came also with a draft, which I've submitted, with a draft letter that I should write and put it on my letterhead, implicating Senator Mobushi for collecting contracts in NDDC. I told him that I will not, I'm a lawyer, and that whoever alleges must prove. The fact that Senator Mobushi is giving us trouble as IMC, you remember also that they did not recognize the IMC. I said, I will not do that letter. He said I was ungrateful and I refused to do the letter. Dr. Cairo now said that he will do the letter. If Akpabio tells him to kill, he will kill before he asks, why did he kill? I said, for me, I will not do the letter. At that place, there was Mr. Etiebet, who was the only staff of the NDDC that was present at that meeting. When he finished, he now asked Dr. Cairo to go and send for the letter-headed paper from the office. They now sent for the letter-headed paper. Dr. Cairo now did the letter, which I've also submitted to the committee, alleging that Senator Wabushi had contracts. Then he said, I must sign the cover letter. I said, if I sign any document from me seen by Mr. President, he will believe every line of it. So I will only write that the EDP, who should know about projects, have gone. The next thing that he told me, he said, I must make sure that all these people leave and that the procurement, because apparently Akpabio, before I came, when himself and Festus Keyamo were ministers, their first meeting at the commission, he was awarded 30 contracts for distilling and water hyacinth.
Hey, Okokobioko. Now to welcome.
Do you know that song that they sing? Plenty things are happening, plenty things are happening.
Yes,
Now
my
with this
sister.
one.
Back to back things are
When I
happening.
saw that showdown between Aquavio and Fubara, I was so ashamed of Aquavio. I'm like, this man should be ashamed of himself. I'm like, you don't even have one small shame like this. How can I come out? This is a burial place. Like what the guy is just saying, that life is fickle. That's just what he's saying. So, like, what is making you like you can even come out and not reach your house? The weak way know that he's not going to come back. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's just the point that Fubara was making. That was just the point that he's making. This man is not even thinking that if he leaves that plane and not reach his house, he's not thinking that too. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You want to see how
Turn am
greedy
to
and gullible?
competition. You dey vex.
Yes.
Why you give Peter Obi clap? You didn't. My God.
And you know what? He's also upset that he's just upset that Fubara is rebelling against Wike. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he wants to like everywhere he wants to, I go show this. You know how Africans now, I go show this boy
Mm-hmm.
say I been senior. Person will first go before you, don't they before you. That kind of like stupid ego, that empty one. That's what he was displaying at that place. You're at a funeral place. You can't even hold yourself. I can't stand petty people. I can't stand petty people. Especially grown ass people that are petty. The thing used to be ugly. Kai, to fear.
Ah, concern them. Oh. They are so as they don't have. It's almost like their brains. They don't have brains. It's almost like
Once
the
you just
brains are
enter that place, like say they give them factory reset. Once you just enter that
exactly.
politics, it's like they have factory reset. Like what we were discussing in that space. When Tinubu was taking Shetima for his GPT, what was the reason for taking the man? What
Thank
track
you.
record did the guy have that he was taking him? He was just see, ba, let me tell you, if you go, I used to have a neighbor that dad was rich, right? And the dad like got a husband for her. The guy married her because her father was rich. The father bought a house close to where my parents used to stay for her. It's like all those federal low cost houses that time. And that was like as
Mm,
far back as 2007. Those houses were going for 2006. Those houses were going for like 3 million, 4 million. Do you understand what I'm saying? The father
yeah.
bought for her and gave her husband. What the husband didn't know is that his wife cannot cook, she cannot do anything. But because she was a big man's child, he married her. They were
Of
bringing
course.
food from her father's house for her every day till the day that they divorced. And that marriage lasted almost 3 years. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Of course. Are they? Yeah. Nati,
Ban
can
a
you hear me?
terrorist.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
can
thought
hear you. Can
you.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you
Terrorists
now.
took over almost his whole state. He couldn't do anything about it. That's the person that you want to be a deputy. The person that you give Minister of State Defense. Where was he from? Was he not from Zamfara? Was he not whining and dining with terrorists? Was he able to do anything to them? So what's going to be his job as a minister now? Who is he defending? Nigerians be lying to themselves. If we don't open our eyes for 2027, it go be for us. It go be.
Will there be
It go be.
2027?
There will be 2027, my sister. It go. Let me tell you. Let me tell you why the people are going crazy. What happened in last election 2023? They didn't see it coming. They did not see it coming. Do you understand?
With all
And
this
now,
kidnapping when they happen, with all this
my
massacre when they
sister,
happen, you
yeah,
dey see
leave.
2020. Okay.
Let me tell you why it's hard for them to control this thing. These people are not getting funding from Nigeria alone. Do you understand what I'm saying? This one is not get these people are not getting funding from Nigeria alone. That's number one. Number two, Nigeria does not have a constructive compliance banking system. Like they don't have any policy for BSA, for anti-money laundering, fraud, and the rest, anything compliance. Nigerian banking system doesn't have that. Because I want to know why somebody that has a savings account is getting deposit of 10 million and you're not calling the person. Is even getting deposit of 1 million student account and you're not calling the person. You are seeing it as normal. Can you see where the failure is already coming from? Because if banks alone can cope this thing, not like curb it 100%, but they can block their own arm of where the funds are coming from. Like these funds cannot come because if they have this money, it has to go through the bank. They have to put some money in the bank. They're not keeping all the cash with them. But because the system has failed, do you understand? Now they are getting a clear way. They have a free pass to be doing what they are doing. So it's even harder for for the state to be able to do anything because the federal is not doing anything. The federal has not given the CBN instruction to come up. When 9/11 happened, wasn't that? And then after 9/11, then this like the great the recession of 2009. Wasn't that when they now gave the mandate that every bank must have a structure compliance department? Every bank must. It was like compulsory. You have to have. You have to have. Those banks that went down recently, why did they go down? Because their compliance system failed. So if Nigeria will enforce that, that will go a long way in helping us. I think I'm beginning to get blind.
Can you hear me? Not to.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Now I can hear you.
Okay, because your line. Okay, go ahead. Mm.
If
Hey,
they
the
have the
Nigerian.
compliance department, it's not functional.
Mm-hmm.
Because that compliance department, in as much as they are part of the bank, they're supposed to be standing, they're supposed to be the oxygen of CBN and all the banks. Do you understand what I'm saying? If your compliance system is dysfunctional, your bank is going down. That's what's supposed to mean. But no, in America now, if your account you are getting deposit of 1,000, the day that you get $10,000 deposit, your account will be flagged automatically. And then there's also a limit to where if you go above $10,000, you have to file a receipt, especially if you're putting cash. But people will just walk in with bundle of cash to the bank and deposit into their account. You don't even ask questions. What kind of business do you do? Like you just involve in a friendly conversation with the customer to know where the money is coming from. No. So how do you want to work on that? Victoria is not a nice person. Why is Victoria doing this?
Not to.
Oh my god. Eh? You keep
Can you
going
hear
in
me?
and out too.
Yeah, I will hear you and then I won't hear you. What's going on now?
Oh me, oh I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
This is crazy. Okay.
I
I've
can
been
hear you
here.
now.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't hearing for like, I don't understand what's going on. But in any case,
Oh.
mm, hmm.
Yeah, so that's the shameful thing going on
Hey,
in our beloved Nigeria. Oh.
it really is shameful though. I won't lie
I'm
to you.
telling you.
It's very shameful.
But you know I'm
Because
going to agree with Victoria. She said Aquavio na gate man wait on Oga for house.
is that true though? I don't know much about this apartment.
Victoria been but no now. What level of exposure does he have?
He doesn't
How
have
will you
any.
bring your Why will you bring yourself down to that level at a funeral place and be talking that rubbish thing? Ah, Oga, yeah. If Nigeria was started with their banking system, I'm telling you, that's one of the biggest ways to like block the funding of terrorism. But they're not working on that. They don't even have anything in that. So that means that they are giving them free pass. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that was one thing I know has helped America and is still helping them. Even though I know they cannot like be able to curb all of it, but
Right.
to a large extent. Do you understand what I'm saying? To a large
Mm-hmm.
extent. Their compliance system, they have softwares that if you're sending money from wherever, whatever
Mm-hmm.
name, whatever, it's just like those keywords that you put that when it hits, if it doesn't hit against a keyword, it can hit against your location. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right.
If it's a certain amount that raises eyebrow, they check where's the money coming from. Oh, it's coming from Omoe. They now have to go and research Omoe. What does Omoe do? Do you think Omoe will have that kind of money? No. Okay, so where will she get it? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But we don't have that. People be having savings account, be having millions of naira. And from where?
Hmm.
From where?
I see
Hi.
what you mean. Yeah.
Nah. It's very unfortunate.
I don't know. Me, I don't see 2027 election. I know they see the practicability of it because there's just so much going on in that country. And the plans that these people have to Islamatize is very, very heavy because they're moving really fast. The kind
So
of
let me
sorting
let me
naming of
let me
villages. Go ahead.
I understand what you're saying, but let me make a little emphasis. In
Mm-hmm.
as much as that's like so much of the agenda that they had,
Mm-hmm.
but like I was saying on the other space in the other Twitter space earlier that Vivi dragged me, This thing, let me tell you, it started from Sharif. When Sharif left, he didn't have money, he didn't have power, he didn't have access to give those boys, and he abandoned them, and the boys went independent. You see where the problem started from?
Mm-hmm.
When we were going to do election between Jonathan and Buhari, that last one that Jonathan handed over to Buhari,
Mm-hmm.
El-Rufai and other APC cohorts brought their own people. In case Jonathan wins, they would use those boys to create unrest. Do you understand? Because
Okay.
Buhari has to win. So, as whatever it is, at the moment Jonathan heard that Buhari was leading or whatever, Baba just considered that, like, you know what, I'm handing over, take over. Me too, let me go and rest and enjoy myself. Now they didn't know what to do with those boys. And that's the reason why every time you hear them, the government know who we are during Buhari time. Because they have had an agreement already. And whatever that agreement that they have is between them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
now that you know, and you know Erifai is a gangster, he feels that he's above the law. Okay, now we don't need you anymore. Go back. They're like, you can't send us back like that. And like, make you tell Ashawo say you go buy car for Ashawo. After enough, you can't give her transport. Say make it they go, madam, they come. That one not your business. So you don't really say you go buy me car, so you go buy the car. I know they move. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now
Mm-hmm.
they say we're not going. You have an agreement, you have to feel it. So now they're like, oh, we have what we wanted, we don't need you anymore. Okay, so why did you buy in the first place? Why did you bring them in the first place? So now they didn't know what to do with them, and the guys now became too powerful for them. Why? Because one, they were kidnapping people and collecting money.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they were getting funding from outside, and they have more machineries than even what the army and the police have. So how do you want
Yes.
to face that kind of person?
Yes. They're even transporting bullets inside oil, gallon of oil,
All
red
right,
oil.
there you go. There you go. So that's why it's difficult. That's why it's becoming like really difficult. And then Tinubu now is blaming the North. No, you're not blaming the North. You went to do Kodei. You went to do longer throat. They already told you that you have pine. You went to lick sugar. Now your nyash is outside. You say your nyash is outside because the Northerners gave you sugar. Now you go lick sugar by yourself. Let's send you. Let's send
You
you.
know this woman, Hadatu. Is it Hadatu they call her? That lady that I think
I
she
say too.
Aisha too.
Yusuf.
She said when she met with Tinubu, I remember, she said she asked him about what his plans are for security. Tinubu told him that he didn't have any plans, that his hands are tied, that he risk losing his life if he does anything about it. She said it. The woman came and
Can you
said
see? Yeah.
she not hide mouth, talk
Yes.
am. That was why
Yeah.
she said
You know,
she
since you
can't
know they
vote for
fear now.
him. Eh?
I say, you know, since you know they fear. Don't care about
Exactly.
nobody.
Eh?
Yeah.
How can he just continue? Because the way it is going, it's crazy. 287 children, 300
Oh
women
my,
from
that's the one you hear. Oh. That's the one that you
that's
know.
the exactly multiply it
That's
by
the one
maybe
that you
5 or even 10.
forget.
Because Nigeria, they are
Forget
very
about
good
all
at
those southern
hiding.
Kaduna villages that they are always. See, there's at
Exactly.
least there is one or two attack every week, minimum one or two every week. So those are the ones that make it to paper. How about the ones that did not make it to paper? That was why last week, when I was in Nigeria in February, when I came back, a week after I came back, I heard that bandits entered the area where my parents live, and they went away with I think two people, and they killed one or something. So the youths now came out. So when Kaduna Abuja Expressway, they came out and blocked the road. Oh. They said nobody will pass. They blocked the road. They say no coming there because they are tired. Why? Because they are in the middle. If Abuja people are coming, they first attack them. If people are coming from inside Kaduna, they will attack them too. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they are at a
Mm-hmm.
crossroad. So somebody now posted on Instagram, and then one of those big Hausa Nollywood actors, sorry, is it the Hausa actors? He now went and said, "Oh, Gonungora people are out now because they did it to them." And I just went and checked, and I saw the man has a verified Instagram page. And I said, a public figure saying this, I said, yeah, you should be ashamed of yourself. So one popular guy, Alinuhu, is an actor. He now inboxed me to beg me. that please, he has told the guy to delete it because it's a shame. We are supposed to be ambassadors of peace, not the people propagating it. I said, so you can see where the problem is coming from. And that is why it's going to be hard for anybody that's not from the north or is not a Muslim for you to convince him that these bandits are not Muslims. Instead of you going to condemn what they are doing because you say they're not part of you, and now you are giving them credit for entering Christian area. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Hi. Nigeria.
Yeah. Tinubu went in there because he wants to be president. He wants his name to be on that flag that he was once president of Nigeria, but you don't have an agenda. Do you understand? It's like somebody that is not emotionally or socially intelligent saying, okay, I want to go and get married. You're signing up yourself for disaster. Because when the problems that come with that marriage come, you don't know how to handle it. So you just went and say, okay, me, I want to go and carry my wife so that we'll do IVF. We're going to put 5 eggs so that we'll try anyone that stay. And then all the 5 eggs became mature and you have 5 children and you're not working. What do you want to do? How do you want to feed them? How do you want to sustain them? So when he was going, you're already seeing the shit that Nigeria was in already. Instead of you to come up with a plan, but just because you want to have that title, just because you want to have that access, just because you took it and signed over the birthright of people, everybody's now there crying. And when I went to Nigeria, the stuff that you used to buy, so I went because for my NGO, where I have an NGO that gives free breast cancer services, right? The needles that we bought in October and used for biopsy, 7,000. I went back in February, those needles were 15,000 per needle.
Is a lie. Hey!
15,000 per needle.
My goodness.
Yes. Yes. Indomie, come on, Indomie, 18,000. Come on, Indomie, 18,000. Sugar, one measure of sugar by the time I left Nigeria was 3,000. One measure of sugar. By the time I left Nigeria was 3,000.
Kai.
No, you can't. And that was why I keep making this emphasis during election. I say if you have a business and you want to hire either Atiku, Tinubu, or Obi to be the executive of your company, how will you interview them and how will you hire them? Because we are basically signing out our life to these people. But now say I want one packet of spaghetti and one pack of Maggi and 500 naira. She don't collect them. She don't buy plot for Banana Island with the 500 naira. I said, people are crying with sickness because they would rather eat and cry than carry the money and go to hospital. They say if I carry money and go hospital, so they gradually say, what will I do? Let me just eat food and hope for the best. If I cry, I cry. If I leave, I leave. That's the level at which people are right now. If you go to the market and buy something in the morning, if you go back in the evening, it's not the same price. It's not the same price. It's not. It's not. So now he's saying, oh, he doesn't have his hands are tight. Nobody you didn't receive the memo of what it would take you to be a president. You did not get the memo. You didn't get the memo. Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Ataya, my sister, you see this matter, eh? I don't know. For me, it's a crazy mentality, Victory. It is. It is a crazy mentality. Everybody keeps talking. I don't know, man. I don't know. Nigeria. It's heartbreaking. You wake up every day, it's one thing or the other. One thing or the other. One thing or the other. They're just harvesting people as though it is corn they are harvesting. I've never seen this kind of thing before.
And these people that are doing all these things, they are illiterate. They've not been to school. Let me tell you the difference between a Sanusi Muslim and a bandit Muslim, those illiterate ones. Those ones didn't go to school. So that they are mala. Whatever he reads the Quran and tell them, that's what it is. So if that Malan is interpreting nonsense to them, like let's say somebody that goes to a Odumeje's church, there's no difference with the person that goes to Odumeje's church with the terrorists and their Malan. Because whatever he sees, that's what you believe. Because you can't read. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if he
Yeah.
tells you that if you go and pie people, you go to him, they'll go and pie people. But if he tells the Muslim of Kano Sanusi that the people they go to heaven, he will tell you about yourself. Because you don't read them for yourself, you don't know them for yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's just the problem. That's one of the problems that the North is dealing with. That illiteracy that they'll go. It's not that they've stopped or they've reduced. Before people don't even send their kids to school, people in the villages, they'll just send their children to the Mala. That's the ones doing Almajiri. So Mala will read with them in the morning. He said them to go and find food in the evening and bring for him. That's what they do.
Hi. Hey.
Well, Nigeria has failed us.
It completely, oh, that's
a
it.
failed
The thing
state.
Completely failed us. We need the building has to. It's almost like we have to dismantle everything and start all over.
Yep.
The damage this man has done. Hey God.
Imagine how dollar rose the moment he got into power. Like you just went and removed subsidy without any plan. Oh my, it's just like you having a house, you want to do renovation. And you just come and call the people to come and start renovating house. You do not move your things. You do not get where you put your things to keep it safe. So that if they're doing the renovation, it will not mess up your stuff. You didn't think about where you know you didn't make any plan. And the people just came and just started. You have your 70 inches TV in the front. That TV bought it like $2,000. You just come and start breaking the wall. I be telling them, yeah, don't break my TV. Oh my God, you're pushing my computer. But you call the people for renovation. So when you call them, what were you thinking? You didn't make plans. You didn't cover the floor so that the painting will not touch the floor and stain the floor. You didn't make all of those plans. You just call them and say, come and do review, come and do painting. Does that even add up?
Nigeria is a major mess, so the mess is deep. Victory, it is so deep. We don't have a nation, no. We don't. It's gone.
Nigeria is a failed state.
It's a complete up from top to bottom. Failed. It is a completely failed state.
Like you'll be sleeping at night with one eyes closed, one eyes open. Imagine one of our friends went to Kaduna, he slept in a hotel. He said that they came and were banging his door. They want, and let me tell you, this kidnapping is in badges. Oh. They are kidnapping that area boys are doing it. So somebody will give hint about you, and then they'll come and kidnap you because they know you have money. They collect the money. Then they are the one that the bandits are the one doing it because they want to fund their lifestyle, they want to fund their mission, they want to fund their vision, all of it. So now imagine that CBN man that they kidnapped and they collected 100 million. Where did they come from? Which account did they deposit the 100 million inside? You understand? People are always contributing money. The government are not saying anything about it. So they're like, the government know about us. People have to contribute. In America, even if you're doing a job, you have to tell your bank, I'm getting money from so and so and so. Because you're seeing the money coming in constantly. Do you understand what I'm saying? They will question, you know where it's coming from. But tell me that these people didn't take any of that money to the bank. They didn't take any of that money to the bank.
You, great question. I'm telling you, they're all in cahoots. They're all in. I'm telling you, the bank exec. I'm serious. Sorry, they know where the source of funds are coming from. They know. They are all in cahoots. They are, because small thing when Nigerians go do, you'll see all the DSS show up for the person house. The DSS has access to people's.
So we know how to find person house. We know how to find bandits.
Thank you.
Make that make sense. Make that make sense. You know how to track somebody that posts somebody on Facebook, something on Facebook. You can't track bandits. These bandits have social media. They have TikTok, Facebook, IG. They post everything on the social
media. Do videos. When I do video, they give a Peking water drink. Meanwhile, people when they fight.
And before they used to do it and cover their face. Now they don't even cover their face.
At
they
all.
Call their name in full.
they challenge of the federal government. They tell them say
Of
when
course.
the federal government they tell them I don't forget with the federal government. They say they follow with the federal government. They drag. Hey.
Let me tell you
Oh,
Tinubu's biggest mistake. Tinubu's biggest mistake is picking Shetima. That's his biggest mistake. Because this man will say, this small one wey you go carry. Person will not let him breathe for instance. Now he won't come here, come control. I beg, he can't do anything. That was his
exactly.
biggest mistake. That was his biggest mistake. You when no woman stubborn. You say, I mean, if I marry her, I go cool her down. You go
Hmm.
shock you by the time you marry her finish.
Hey, my sister, I don't know. It's just sad. It really
It
it's
is.
quite sad to be
It
honest with
is.
you. It is quite where Nigeria has gotten to. But you know what? We can't be quiet. We have to stand on it. We have to. We're not
Yeah,
the only
we
country
have
where
to.
we get with
Yeah,
that though.
that's the only home that we have.
Hmm. It's the only one we can't let it go into. We cannot let it burn to the ground. Nah, we have to keep talking. We have to join hands. If you're on Twitter, join spaces where they are having these conversations. Contribute your own. I beg you now.
I don't know how to
Hey,
use
we dey
Twitter, but
laugh
I'm
at the
learning.
future generation. Now this one we won't live for them. Nigeria
My
needs an
sister,
overhaul, complete overhaul. How is
seriously,
going to happen? Everybody needs to come
seriously.
together. We need to think about ways to rescue that nation because it's going to the bush. The country is at the bottom of the ocean. Every day they kidnap people, they buy people, they kidnap people, they buy people. E no normal. E no normal. Eh? It's getting worse and worse by the day. You are not safe in your house, you are not safe on the road. You are not
No,
even safe in your churches, you are not safe in the mosque. They will
no,
find you,
you're
they
not
will do
safe anywhere.
whatever.
They will go anywhere. Yeah,
Exactly. They kidnap
people can't farm
50.
anymore. People
Yes,
cannot farm anymore. You go to your
no,
farm, they kidnapping your farm. You can't farm.
exactly.
That's why food is
Can't do
expensive.
anything anymore. They kidnap 50 students, 50 female students. Till today, we don't know, we don't hear PIM, 50 human beings. Before, hey, God, I beg you. Talking
Do you
about
understand the kind
farming,
of trauma?
I'm telling you, eh? Only God knows the circumstances that those people are living under. Talking about farming, find if you live in Nigeria, find old tires, yeah, put sand inside, start to dey plant your tomatoes, your pepper, get your poultry, buy one goat, female goat, male goat. If na ram, buy male ram, female ram wey dem go dey breed for you inside your house, inside your yard. Make una plant inside
Oh
una
my,
house.
let me explain to you that goat thing. See,
Mhm.
we're four girls in our house and all of us are married. So
Uh-huh.
all of us, like, if they're getting married, they'll bring one goat. So the goats are giving birth. But the problem is, like, even the goat food is expensive. When we went to Nigeria last year, August, my mom had to give everybody one goat to kill, to just buy the goat, cut it and fry it and go with it. And she's like, because the food is too expensive, like it's draining her. So she's like, so we had to take four to reduce the weight for her. Do you understand? Because even that shaft that people used to get from the market that they used to give the cow, people don't even take their corn to get shaft anymore. They just grind it now into powder with the shaft so that they will have more corn powder. Do you understand? So the thing, oh my goodness. Ah, Jesus. Whoa. Mm-mm.
Mm. Mm. My sister, I don't even know. I don't have anything else to say because this matter, eh? Hey, this matter it tire me oh, but
And this one they say it choke.
e choke oh, I no lie, e choke. It's just that I can't stop talking about it. E choke. I can't be quiet, honestly. Eh? So for those of you at home, get old tires, get old cement bags, don't throw them away, old rice bags, put sand, use your leftover food that you are not use it as compost. Plant your yam, cassava, tomatoes, pepper at the back of your yard, okay? So that you have something to eat. Your efo, your ewedu, your bitter leaf, water leaf, plant am for back of your house. omo, because it's real. Buy chicken, eh? Make you grow chicken, dey lay your way, buy your own egg. I mean, dey use your own eggs and leave the rest to grow, make dem become chicken for you. Because omo, the hunger, e don dey hit everywhere, and it's going to get worse with the way things are. The dollar is not coming down. They are just doing abracadabra. The thing is not coming down, no. So please, everybody hold themselves, hold your side. If you have family back home, please tell them, let them have farm at the back of their house. So it's not, nobody is not smiling nowhere is smiling anymore in Nigeria. Everybody is struggling. My people, now here I go end am. Natu, it's been a while. Thank you for
My
stopping.
darling. I
I
was holding my phone and it popped up. I was like, oh my God, where is life today? Let me join.
I know. I really appreciate you for stopping by. It's been a long time. I see the inside
Anytime,
the
sis.
fight. I dey
You
fight am.
say?
I say I see the inside the Nigeria fight. We dey fight am. We no go leave the country for them.
God will give us victory by the
God go.
power of God. We will
Amen.
strategize for 2027. You go shock them. The one way we showed them last year, you just testing.
Okay. He said, oh,
Yeah.
God will keep us alive. Our eye go see the victory.
Amen.
Mhm.
Amen.
Thank you. I bet me
All right,
greet your
sis. Have a
husband
good
and
night. You
everybody for me.
here. Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
sis.
Good night.
All right. Bye.
All right, my people. It's been real low. This is all I have to say. Nigeria matter. Almost. This is all I have to say for now. But I'll certainly see you guys on my next one. Thank you for joining me. Victory all the way. Highly favored. Neka, my darling. Everyone that stopped by. Kene, thank you so much for stopping by. You. I appreciate all of you. Now God, now go bless you for me. All right, so guys, I'll see you on my next one. Bye.